Hello everyone, Hana here, evolutionary astrologer. Welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about this new moon coming up at 28 degrees of the sign of Scorpio. And before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and if you know anyone who might enjoy this content, please share it with them too. So let's talk about the new moon coming up at exactly 12:47 a.m. Central Time, which means that if you are on Pacific or Mountain Time, you're going to experience the new moon actually on November 19th, late night on November 19th. So this means that if you have planets in the late degrees of Scorpio, this lunation is very significant for you. If you have planets at the late degrees of Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, this lunation is very significant for you. And so look at the chart, around the inside the pink circle, you see the new moon. So you see the symbol of the moon, the symbol of the sun together. That's the new moon when they look together, when they're coming together and at the 28th degree of Scorpio. And then you see a very special guest to this new moon, Mercury, also at the 28th degree of Scorpio. So they're all sitting at the exact same degree. And it's a Mercury retrograde. Let's talk about that. So this is not just a new moon, it's really a new moon really fused with this Mercury retrograde energy. So let's backtrack a little bit. What is the new moon? What is the symbolism of a new moon? New moons always bring a new beginning. So it's a fresh new cycle. It's a moment of seeding. It's a dark moon. We don't see the light of the moon in our sky. She's invisible. We are in total darkness. So it's really representing that and symbolizing that action of going inward, retreating. It's a time for introspection. It's a time for preparation because we're planting something new that will start to grow over the next 4 weeks. So it's very much that womb space of the lunar cycle. We're deep within ourselves. And Scorpio is very much the depth initiator. Scorpio is a modern alchemist, and it teaches us how to go all the way in. So this is really bringing that self-investigation energy at its finest. So that willing to take a very honest look at ourselves, the good, the bad, the ugly, the uncomfortable, all the truths that sometimes we rather avoid. So it's a new moon where we can really do that deep work of examination. What's working in our lives? What's absolutely not working? Where do I feel limited, stuck, weak, vulnerable? Where do I feel not enough? What's hidden below the surface? Really waiting to be acknowledged. So Scorpio exposes the things that we buried, and not to punish us. It's not a new moon to make us suffer, but it's a new moon to help us to liberate ourselves. So there's something quite intense here. And again, Scorpio is the sign of the alchemist, but it's about transforming what's not working, pain, fear into truth, into gold, into evolution, into wisdom, right? So it brings that, this lunation is filled with this energy of transformation and intimacy and emotional honesty and psychological depth and release and rebirth, right? Scorpio doesn't do superficial. So, what truth are we ready to acknowledge in order for the growth to occur, for the evolution to occur? So that's the seeding that we're planting personally in our own personal lives, in our own individual lives, but also collectively speaking. So we might see a lot of these shadows coming to light, so to speak, and these vulnerabilities, these fears. But again, this is with that intention of purging, purifying, cleansing. So for some of you, it's going to be um, this experience, but for others, it could also be a moment of feeling empowered, fully in your strength, reclaiming something that has always belonged to you, that you are. So that's the Scorpio part of it. But look at how Mercury is also a very important player in this new moon, and it's a Mercury retrograde. That's the special guest of this lunation. So this Mercury brings the deep conversations. First of all, the deep conversation within ourselves, deep conversations with others. Again, look at where this new moon is happening for you, because if it's happening, for example, in your 10th house, this could be very much about your parents or you as a parent, you as a teacher, you as the boss, or you're talking, you're having these conversations with those who are empowered, those who have authority over you, your boss, your mentor, your teacher. If it's happening in the 5th house, maybe these conversations are happening with your children, with your pets, even. If it's happening in the 7th house, your partner, this could be your romantic partner, but also your business partners as well. Mercury also brings, Mercury retrograde is about rethinking, revisiting, reevaluating. So this could very much be about agreements, commitments, contracts, deals. You might be renegotiating the terms of something in your life. And again, uncovering those hidden motives, revisiting old fears, old patterns, old ways of being. This could also be remembering something important from the past that's coming to light, that's coming to your awareness. Um, Intuitive messages, this could be dreams, this could be synchronicities, but coming from that place of, oh, I actually been here before. I've actually done this before. Actually, it's a new understanding of something from the past and letting go if we need to let go, renegotiating the terms and birthing a new cycle with this new moon. So it's important to slow the mind so we can really hear what's underneath the noise. This Mercury in Scorpio is not a chatty Mercury. It's very much that true serum type of Mercury. So whatever seeding is happening right now, whatever seed is being planted, it's a seed that's being planted in the dark. And it carries that potential of a new wisdom of something that you've recently realized or about to realize. And then the Scorpio is about really pulling it out of you and initiating a new cycle from this place of really revisiting an old contract and making those necessary adjustments. Another thing is, as you can see, the other circle, you see Uranus is right opposite this new moon. So it can bring, Uranus brings group dynamics, friendships, your community. So a lot of these things can be around those themes. And it's Uranus in Taurus, which can also talk about finances. So what is going on in your financial world, financial decisions. So a lot about that too can come through during this new moon. So some reflections. What am I ready to transform? What truth do I need to speak? Maybe it's a truth, really, that conversation with ourselves deep within, but also the conversations with people in your life. And what emotional patterns am I, finally able to release? Or maybe what emotional patterns I realize I don't need them anymore. They don't serve me anymore. So what cycle am I ready to finish and kind of close that door, close that page of that book to start to initiate something new, right? And this might be a time where we have these conversations that can't be quite hard to have, where we need to come from that place of emotional honesty, but also, making safe space for others, for the other person to also share their truth. And ultimately, it's about healing. It's about um, intimacy, deepening our relationships, and not coming from that place of, responding from our triggers instead of really responding from deep listening and compassion and heart-centeredness. So clearing up the clutter with this Mercury so we can all begin a more aligned new chapter. Okay, so if you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share with someone that you think might enjoy it too. And if you don't know, if you want to know where this new moon is happening for you, don't forget that you can go on my website and cast your birth chart for free. So that's all you have to do is see where the 28th degree of Scorpio is happening in your chart. And this is where this lunation will be happening for you. See you next time.